Hi, my name is Sham. I'm a feminist coach and process architect. This month, I have the pleasure of talking with Tumi. Tumi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, happily. Hi everyone. Hi, my name's Tumi. I am a somatic sex and relationship coach and a magician. And I'm really excited, and a lover. I always say that. And I'm really excited to be here.
I want to talk about all of those things.
I know. I think with the bell hooks, it's like I couldn't not bring in.
I know, I was like, magician, my antenna went up, and then lover, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But, the crew said that we have to talk about the end of the year. It's that time of the year.
Okay. No
So let's
just
let's bring the magic into the conversation about the end of the year. So I think, for me, I have this feeling that I'm slowing down now and I'm starting to think about what are some of the things that I want to celebrate and maybe just acknowledge about the year that was. What would be the 3 highlights for you, or the 3 major lessons for you from 2024?
In 2024. Oh, I love this question. 2024 has been a big learning year for me. I would say one of the big lessons has been to ask. One of the craziest things I did this year was I asked a friend for $15,000 to buy a car just as a whim, and they said yes, and I bought a car, and I was like, there's so much power in asking, and what are we leaving on the table when we don't ask, and when we don't take risks. So that's been one. I would say a second one has been really learning to honor my body's capacity in a deeper way, and to not cross my own boundaries or override my own sense of wellness or safety in order to meet some goal that I'm holding over my head. And really actually saying, like, who is this body? What does this body need? What does this body have capacity for? And letting that lead me instead of the mind. And what's the third thing?
The bonus one.
The bonus one, exactly. I think I've learned a lot about the importance of community this year, and that I really want to orient to bridging the gap between collective and individual healing, because I've been in this individual healing bubble for a while, but I'm ready to think about how we bridge the gaps so that we all get to be well.
I really love that. The first part that you said about asking. I met somebody a few months ago, and the one thing I said to her, what is an unreasonable request that you can make? And I met her recently at the AWID conference in Thailand, and she said she's still thinking about it. So I'm just, I think what surprised me is how difficult it is for us to ask unreasonable, what we think is unreasonable, because I think what may be unreasonable for you may not be for me. So I think, like you, when I look back at the year, I celebrate, I think, the ways in which I was able to work and show up and learn. I think I learned a lot this year, but also similar to you, like my capacity to learn, but also the cost of learning, because sometimes I want to give too much. And I think I was listening to something yesterday where the person was saying that, passion isn't something that's external, it's something that's internal. And we feed our passion when we feel energized. And so I was just thinking about this dance between feeling depleted and energized. And I think that, one of my lessons was to pay attention more to what is energizing me and what is depleting me. I also felt like this piece around community, maybe what's different from what you were sharing, I'm coming, I feel like I've given at that level and I want to anchor it more. And so what I want to do now with community is do a lot more grounded community work in the space that I live, right? So inviting my friends into my work, and that piece around, I want all of my friends to thrive. I don't want to feel like I'm exceptional or special. I want to feel like, and if there's something we can offer each other to do, that thriving, that for me is important. So then kind of building on that, then looking forward to 2025 this morning, I said to somebody 2026, and she's like, what happened to 2025?
We missed a year.
I was
we going?
Let's just skip that one. Let's just go straight. No.
Yeah.
Let's go for 2025.
Yeah.
Like what are you looking forward to? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like what are you looking forward to really bringing into the world through, you know, who you are and what it is that you are able to offer.
Yeah. I also just wanted to reflect back. I love the like generous nature of your being because I feel like that comes through and shines through so strongly. Like there's this like the generosity and the abundance and like wanting to learn more, wanting to do more, wanting to give more, and then sometimes being like, I need to find a way to ground it.
Yes.
To see where energy is being lost or where I'm getting
and it's that
depleted.
dance, right?
It's a dance.
It's a constant dance. Like sometimes you do more of the one, and it doesn't mean one is better than the other, but it's just what we need at a particular journey.
Yeah, I love that balance. It's the balance. I think things that I'm really looking forward to, it does feel like a continuation of all these themes. Like I'm thinking about generosity a lot and how can I be more generous in every aspect of my life with my lovers, with my friends, with my clients, with my community, with strangers who I meet. Where is there room for me to be generous financially, in the assumptions I make of people, and how I show up in my embodiment and my energy, like in my knowledge and my wisdom? Where can I be generous and create a win-win in every interaction I'm in? Like I really want to orient to collective wins. So that's a big intention I think I'm seeding for the new year.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I think maybe the biggest thing for me is intentionality. I feel like it was such a weird moment that when I realized that I've just been floating along and it's been going well. You know, I have really great people I get to work with, partner and collaborate with. I have a great community, a great family and circle of friends. But I kind of, like at some point in this year, I said to myself, wait a minute. You know, what would happen if I'm more intentional around how I work with that, right? And so, like you were saying, this piece around, you know, so talking about financial, like one of the things I want to create next year is I want to work with my friends to become financially abundant. Because for many of them, financial abundance is something they shy away from because we are not allowed to say we want to be more abundant.
Yeah.
Right, so that's
it's super taboo to be like,
yes,
want money,
and do this kind of work, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things I really want to do, and I'm very excited about it because I don't know how that's gonna land and how it's gonna go, and I love doing stuff like that. I think the piece also about expanding, but also this piece around, like, again, this balance between expanding and pulling back, expanding and pulling back, I think is to be more present to myself throughout this, right? Because if I'm not doing okay, then what happens to what it is that I want to do?
Yeah.
And maybe the thing that I want to do is something you said that you learned from is ask more. I feel like I have a really generous community around me and I don't ask enough.
Yeah.
And so I am going to try it. I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know how the experiment goes.
How that goes. That is super hard because it goes with that vulnerability,
it's
right?
So vulnerable.
And the story you tell yourself about who you are in the world.
Exactly. And whether people want to give to you and whether you're worthy of receiving.
Exactly. So I want to play with that and I'm definitely gonna try to see how it goes. Maybe the next question is around you know, like when we think about, like, one of my identities is I'm an African feminist. And so how do you feel your particular dreams and visions for 2025 aligns with, I think, this broader movement of feminists across the continent and even beyond in the diaspora as well?
Yeah, I feel so emotional with that question. It's a good question. I think that's the question of this time for me. Is like, how do I weave into larger networks and communities of people that I really want to support? But I think where I see my work plugging in is I feel like I teach people in a really practical way how to be loving. I feel like that's almost some of the gap that I bring, like that I meet in the world.
Yeah.
Is yes, love is a big spiritual ideal. Bell Hooks pointed us to love. Audre Lorde pointed us to eroticism. How do we actually do the work of grounding in these big values and philosophies and then embodying that and moving in the world? And I think I want to find more ways to support movement building, to support collectives of people, to support collectives of African and Black feminists, right? Like to really support this community that has fed into me, that has radicalized me, and it was reading all about love in 2018 that like set me on the path that I'm on now, because I was just like, oh my God. And it's still one of the most influential books for me. So I'm like, how do we just bring that into praxis even more?
Maybe just to respond and then I'll kind of go in that. I think the thing for me that what you just said, that was the most powerful is praxis, right? Like I think as long as we live, we are in praxis. And I feel like and connecting our praxis to one another, because none of us are alone, right? And I think for me, when I think about Pan-African feminism and the work I do, I feel it's very anchored in our collective struggles of making sense of who we are in this world, in a post-colonial world, in an African context, in a global context. And what does that mean in terms of how we show up and how we are able to voice out and take leadership on the things that are the most important to us. And I also love the piece around being loving. Maybe as we close off, what is one wish or piece of advice you'd like to offer? I also love the generosity that you bring into the space and the love. Oh my God, I want to come to you.
Thank you for seeing that and reflecting that back. And I think maybe the thing that I want to offer, it was something that came up as you were sharing, is the somatic principle that we become what we practice. And that grounds me every day, because it's like, wow, what am I practicing? Am I practicing being loving and open-hearted and vulnerable in each moment to moment, and also not expecting perfection in that. But like, wow, we become what we practice. What are we practicing individually? What are we practicing collectively? As humanity, what are we practicing in 2025? And then what does that mean about who we are and who we are becoming?
I really love this conversation, because I think what we're offering everybody is just, a moment to anchor ourselves in intentionality, in love, and in praxis, because I think who we continue becoming is about our praxis, and that none of us are alone in this. I think that's the thing that keeps me going, brings me joy, makes me smile, makes me cry as well.
So much emotion.
But it's a thing that I think makes me feel like what I'm doing, it's important and it's meaningful. So thank you, Tumi. This was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I feel really grateful.
Yeah,
I got to spend this time with you.
If what I have shared with you this month, the insights, the tools, the reflections was useful for you, please check out my website, www.shamilawilson.com, for more resources and also for my contact information if you want to hit me up for an exploratory conversation. Thank you.